Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins find themselves standing at the edge of history, and it's not the kind of history that gets written every Sunday in the NFL. This is something rare, almost mythic in its obscurity, something the league hasn't witnessed in nearly 2 decades. And yet, here we are in 2025, staring down a stretch of football that might deliver something completely unexpected. Not just one game, but potentially 2 straight weeks where both starting quarterbacks are left-handed. In a sport dominated by right-handed throwers and designed almost entirely with them in mind, the rise of a few southpaws suddenly colliding on the schedule has turned into one of the most fascinating quirks of the season. The Dolphins, led by Tua Tagovailoa, have been carrying the lefty torch alone for years, but now, thanks to quarterback moves in Cleveland and Atlanta, they're positioned to give the league a dose of lefty-on-lefty quarterback action for the first time since 2006, and in back-to-back weeks, no less. Tua has become the face of the modern left-handed quarterback in the NFL. For 6 seasons now, he has carved out his space in Miami, often shouldering not only the weight of being the Dolphins' franchise quarterback, but also the symbolism of being the league's lone active lefty starter. That distinction gave him a certain mystique. Analysts, coaches, and defensive coordinators would often remind fans that preparing for Tua was different, not just because of his quick release or timing-based accuracy, but because the ball simply comes out of his hand in reverse. The spin is different. The angles change. Offensive lines have to flip their blind side responsibilities, meaning the right tackle suddenly has to be your best pass protector. It's like playing football in a mirror. Defenses that train every week against righties suddenly find themselves thrown off rhythm against Tua. For years, that quirk set Miami apart. But Tua is no longer the only one. The Atlanta Falcons made headlines last winter when they turned to Michael Penix Jr., a rookie southpaw who instantly doubled the number of lefty quarterbacks in the league. That decision alone was enough to get old-school fans reminiscing about names like Steve Young, Boomer Esiason, and Ken Stabler. Suddenly, the Dolphins' Week 8 matchup with the Falcons became more than just another game. It became an opportunity for the NFL to stage a lefty versus lefty duel for the first time in almost 20 years. And as if that wasn't rare enough, the Browns just tossed another wrinkle into the mix. Cleveland, searching for answers on offense, benched veteran Joe Flacco and handed the reins to rookie Dillon Gabriel. Gabriel, like Tua and Penix, throws with his left hand. Just like that, the Dolphins' Week 7 trip to Cleveland is now a part of history as well. Think about that for a moment. From 2006 all the way until 2024, the NFL didn't see a single game where both starting quarterbacks were left-handed. Then, in the span of 2 weeks in October, Miami could be part of 2 such games in a row. To understand just how unusual this is, you have to remember the history. The last lefty showdown came on September 17, 2006, when Michael Vick's Atlanta Falcons beat Chris Sims and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before that, it was the 2005 playoffs, with Sims going against Mark Brunell in Washington. These moments were footnotes in NFL lore, oddities you bring up on trivia night, but not the kind of thing anyone expected to return. And yet, the league has circled all the way back to it, with Miami right in the middle. Part of what makes this story so compelling is just how rare left-handed quarterbacks are in the league. Historically, very few have risen to true stardom. You've got legends like Steve Young, who not only redefined the position with his mobility and arm, but also sits comfortably near the top of the all-time passing list for lefties. You've got Boomer Esiason, who threw for nearly 38,000 yards, the all-time leader among left-handers. Mark Brunell carved out his place in Jacksonville lore, while Ken Stabler became a Raiders icon in the 70s. Then, of course, Michael Vick electrified the league with his legs and his cannon of an arm, making defenders miss in ways that felt like a video game come to life. But after Vick's era, the stream of left-handed quarterbacks dried up almost completely. Chris Sims was gone, Tim Tebow fizzled out, and for a long stretch it was only Tua keeping the southpaw spirit alive. For nearly 2 decades, the NFL lived in a right-handed world. So when Cleveland announced that Gabriel would start, it was more than just a rookie getting his shot. It was a continuation of this strange ripple across the league. Suddenly, the Dolphins' season holds an almost cinematic subplot. In Week 7, Tua will go toe-to-toe with Gabriel. Then in Week 8, he'll face Penix. If all goes as scheduled, Miami will find themselves at the center of a moment the NFL hasn't seen in 19 years. Not one, but 2 consecutive weeks where the field is mirrored, where defenses scramble to adjust to a ball spinning the wrong way, where analysts scramble for historical comparisons, and where fans realize they're watching something both subtle and extraordinary. But here's the twist that makes this story more than just a quirky trivia nugget. For Miami, these games come at a pivotal stretch of the season. By Week 7, teams are starting to define themselves. Contenders separate from pretenders, and every game begins to carry more playoff weight. For the Dolphins, the question isn't just whether they can make history by participating in these lefty duels. The real question is, what kind of team are they becoming? Are they simply a novelty act in the record books? Or are they the kind of squad that can use this stretch to make a statement about who they are and what they're chasing? That's the beauty of this storyline. On one level, it's a fun piece of trivia, a quirky reminder of how rare lefties are in football. But on another level, it's a chance for the Dolphins to build identity. Facing Gabriel and Penix in consecutive weeks isn't just about history. It's about testing themselves against 2 teams going through transitions at quarterback. Cleveland will be leaning on a rookie, full of raw talent, but still untested against NFL speed. Atlanta will be handing the ball to Penix, still writing the first chapters of his career. Miami, on the other hand, has stability in Tua. They have a proven system, a clear offensive identity, and the benefit of experience. If the Dolphins are truly aiming to position themselves as contenders, these are the kinds of games they have to control. History is nice, but wins matter more. The psychological angle is fascinating too. Imagine being a defender preparing for back-to-back weeks of left-handed quarterbacks. All your instincts, drilled into you from years of facing right-handed passers, suddenly have to shift. The rollout goes the other way. The pocket angles flip. Even the spin of the ball can affect how a defensive back tracks it in the air. For 2 straight weeks, Miami's defense will be the one group in the league with back-to-back reps against lefties. That could either be a small edge or a mental hurdle. Either way, it's going to be different. And in a league where different often means difficult, that matters. Of course, fans are going to eat this up. The NFL thrives on storylines that feel bigger than the box score, and you can bet that by the time Week 7 rolls around, every broadcast will be leaning into the rarity of what we're about to witness. Expect montages of Young, Brunell, and Vick. Expect graphics showing the all-time yardage leaders among left-handers. Expect sideline shots of Tua smiling with Gabriel, maybe swapping jerseys after the game, both aware that they've just been part of something unique. And then expect it all again a week later with Penix. This is the kind of storyline that football fans love, the kind that reminds you that even in a sport as meticulously structured as the NFL, quirks and anomalies can still sneak in and surprise you. But as much as we celebrate the left-handed connection, the deeper storyline remains the same. The Miami Dolphins have an opportunity here. They can turn what might have been remembered as a quirky piece of trivia into a launching pad for their season. 2 games, 2 rookie quarterbacks, 2 lefties standing across from Tua. It's more than just a historical oddity. It's a chance for Miami to show whether they're serious about their goals. Are they a team that only makes headlines for unusual stats? Or are they a team that takes advantage of these matchups and uses them to fuel a playoff run? That's the question Dolphins fans will be asking as October winds down. So yes, history is on the line. The first back-to-back lefty matchups in 19 years. A league suddenly dotted with southpaws after decades of drought. The spotlight on Tua, once the lone lefty face of the NFL, now sharing the stage with Gabriel and Penix. But when the dust settles, the numbers on the scoreboard will matter more than the direction of the quarterback's throwing arm. And for the Dolphins, that means this isn't just about being part of a fun trivia answer. It's about defining who they are and proving, once and for all, what they're playing for. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? In a move that has already set the NFL rumor mills on fire, Dalvin Cook, one of the league's most dynamic running backs, reportedly made a surprise landing in Miami earlier today, sparking immediate speculation that he is about to ink a 1-year deal with the Dolphins. Sources close to the situation, who have asked to remain anonymous, suggest that the visit was entirely unplanned from the public's perspective, catching both fans and journalists off guard. The sudden arrival of Cook in South Florida has already sent waves across social media, with fans flooding Twitter and Instagram with hot takes, GIFs, and memes imagining what the backfield could look like with one of the league's premier rushers joining Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. While no official announcement has yet been made by the Dolphins organization, insiders hint that discussions are in the final stages and that a contract could be signed and announced before the weekend, making this one of the most talked-about potential acquisitions of the offseason. The timing of Cook's arrival raises questions about the strategic vision of the Dolphins' front office and how they intend to balance their roster with star players returning and promising rookies who have been generating buzz throughout training camps and preseason workouts. The buzz started as soon as airport photographers caught a glimpse of Cook stepping off a private jet, casually dressed, but unmistakably carrying the aura of a player who knows he's on the verge of a major career move. Fans immediately speculated whether this was a mere personal trip to Miami or if it was indeed tied to negotiations with the Dolphins, and within hours, whispers began circulating among reporters that a one-year, high-stakes contract was on the table. Analysts began breaking down what this move could mean for Miami's offense, projecting scenarios in which Cook could complement or even redefine the running game alongside the existing roster. The sheer unpredictability of a player of Cook's caliber entering the Dolphins lineup has fueled debates. Some argue that his arrival could dramatically improve their chances in a highly competitive AFC, while others caution that his injury history and the uncertainty of a one-year contract could create challenges for both player and team. Despite these questions, the excitement in Miami is palpable, with local sports bars and fan groups already speculating about Cook's debut and how his style of play could synergize with the Dolphins' fast-paced, aerial-focused offense. Reports from insiders suggest that negotiations have been intense but remarkably discreet, with both Cook's representatives and the Dolphins' front office maintaining a low profile despite the magnitude of the potential signing. The secrecy has only added to the intrigue, as fans are left piecing together fragments of information from social media sightings, cryptic tweets, and photographs of Cook in Miami. There's a sense of urgency in the air. Sources claim that the Dolphins see Cook as a critical piece in their quest to strengthen their offensive depth while giving Tua Tagovailoa a reliable weapon in the backfield. Meanwhile, industry analysts are speculating about the financials of the deal, noting that one-year contracts for high-profile players like Cook often include incentives tied to performance, health, and playoff success. This has sparked further debate online, with some fans hoping that Cook will take the contract with a sense of pride and determination to prove his worth, while others speculate whether the short-term nature of the deal might affect his on-field chemistry with the rest of the team. Regardless, the consensus seems to be that Dalvin Cook's mere presence in Miami has already made headlines and dominated sports talk shows across the nation. One of the more intriguing angles of this developing story is the reaction from other teams in the AFC. If Cook does indeed sign with the Dolphins, rival teams are likely re-evaluating their game plans, particularly those who have struggled against dynamic running backs in recent seasons. The potential addition of Cook could force opponents to adjust their defensive schemes, preparing for a player who can break tackles, accelerate through gaps, and serve as a dual threat in both rushing and receiving situations. Speculation also revolves around how his presence might influence the Dolphins' draft strategy, as adding a proven veteran like Cook could shift priorities away from investing heavily in rookies at the running back position. Fans and analysts alike are envisioning highlight reels where Cook slices through defensive lines, creating explosive plays and adding a new level of excitement to Miami's offensive identity. The rumor mill has also spun narratives about potential locker room dynamics, with Cook's leadership and experience possibly serving as a catalyst for younger players, fostering a culture of competitiveness and resilience within the team. Beyond the X's and O's, Cook's rumored signing touches on broader narratives about the NFL's evolving player market. High-profile free agents landing on unexpected teams, sometimes even midweek without prior announcements, is becoming more common in an age dominated by social media leaks, fan speculation, and the relentless appetite for breaking news. In this context, Cook's surprise arrival in Miami fits a pattern of players taking control of their narratives, leveraging personal brand and performance history to secure opportunities that align with both professional and personal goals. Rumors suggest that the one-year term is intentional, allowing Cook to prove his durability and impact in a new system while keeping his options open for future seasons, either with Miami or elsewhere. For fans, this adds a layer of suspense. Every game, every snap could serve as a statement not only to the Dolphins organization but to the league at large, reinforcing Cook's value and versatility as a premier running back in today's NFL. Analysts have started drafting speculative projections, imagining how Cook could rack up yardage, touchdowns, and highlight reel plays in Miami's offense, sparking debates about whether this could be the year he reaches a new peak in performance. While the Dolphins have yet to confirm the deal officially, the atmosphere in Miami suggests that the city is bracing for a major announcement. Sports radio stations are running continuous segments dissecting potential formations, offensive line combinations, and passing game adjustments that might be made to maximize Cook's effectiveness. Social media chatter is equally feverish, with fans posting clips of previous Cook highlights, overlaying Dolphins jerseys, and creating hypothetical game day scenarios. Even casual sports observers are drawn into the narrative, as the idea of a surprise landing by one of the league's top backs is too tantalizing to ignore. The broader narrative hints at a team willing to take calculated risks, investing in talent that could bring immediate impact, while also sending a message to the league that Miami is intent on being a contender. The speculation surrounding Dalvin Cook's arrival has quickly transcended standard off-season chatter, positioning the story as a defining talking point as the NFL season approaches. As the day progresses, sources suggest that final contractual details are being hammered out behind closed doors, with agents, team executives, and financial advisors working to finalize terms that satisfy all parties. The rumor is that Cook has already met with key coaching staff and may participate in light workouts or team meetings in Miami as early as this week. Speculation abounds regarding how quickly he might be activated on the roster, and whether the Dolphins intend to unveil him with a traditional press conference or allow the announcement to drop quietly on social media. Fans are eagerly anticipating confirmation, with some imagining dramatic Instagram reels, YouTube videos, and TikTok clips celebrating Cook's arrival in Miami. Meanwhile, analysts continue to dissect the implications for Tua Tagovailoa, suggesting that Cook could open up new passing lanes, force defenses to respect the run, and create opportunities for explosive offensive plays that were previously harder to achieve. The story, while still technically a rumor, has taken on a life of its own, with every small development scrutinized for clues about the imminent signing. There's also an undeniable human element to the narrative. Dalvin Cook is not just a name or a player. He's an athlete with a storied career, a fan following, and a reputation for resilience and dedication. Rumors suggest that part of the allure of Miami for Cook may be the chance to work under a coaching staff that values speed, agility, and creative offensive schemes, aligning with his strengths as a running back who excels in space and in open field situations. Observers point to the potential synergy with other skill position players on the roster, imagining a Dolphins offense that is both balanced and explosive. As fans await confirmation, the excitement is tangible, with merchandise speculation, fantasy football projections, and casual water-cooler conversations all orbiting around this developing saga. The anticipation is building not just because of the potential on-field impact, but because surprise moves like this carry an almost cinematic quality, offering a story that captures attention and fuels conversation across the NFL landscape. By the evening, chatter has intensified. Sports podcasts are devoting entire segments to dissecting possible offensive line configurations, play-calling strategies, and how Dalvin Cook could redefine Miami's offensive identity in a single season. Speculation extends to playoff scenarios, with some pundits suggesting that if Cook maintains health and momentum, the Dolphins could see a dramatic uptick in rushing yards, scoring efficiency, and overall competitiveness in one of the league's toughest conferences. The rumor carries additional weight because of the timing. Landing a player of Cook's caliber unexpectedly midweek can create momentum, energizing a fan base, rallying the team, and sending a message to rival franchises that Miami is willing to make bold moves in pursuit of success. Even without an official confirmation, the story is dominating sports conversations nationwide, reflecting the unique blend of anticipation, excitement, and intrigue that surrounds a potential high-profile acquisition in today's NFL landscape. While the final details remain under wraps, one thing is clear: Dalvin Cook's surprise appearance in Miami has set the stage for a week of speculation, analysis, and fan frenzy. Rumors suggest that a one-year contract is imminent, but the buzz surrounding his arrival extends far beyond numbers on a page. It's about expectations, possibilities, and the thrill of imagining what a player of Cook's caliber could bring to an already ambitious Dolphins roster. As the story continues to unfold, fans are left on the edge of their seats, eagerly refreshing news feeds, dissecting insider reports, and debating the potential impact of this move. Whether the deal closes in the coming hours or the narrative takes another twist, Miami has become the epicenter of NFL speculation today, and all eyes are on Dalvin Cook as he prepares to potentially redefine the Dolphins' backfield, energize a fan base, and write the next chapter in his storied career. The rumor, electric and unstoppable, continues to ripple through every corner of the NFL world, leaving players, fans, and analysts alike to imagine a Miami offense energized, dynamic, and unpredictable, all thanks to one surprise landing. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.